Mel Brooks's film Blazing Saddles opens in movie theaters starring Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder. Blazing Saddles is a 1974 American Western black comedy film directed by Mel Brooks. Starring Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder, the film was written by Brooks, Andrew Bergman, Richard Pryor, Norman Steinberg, and Alan Uga, and was based on Bergman's story and draft. The film received generally positive reviews from critics and audiences, was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, and is ranked number 6 on the American Film Institute's 100 Years 100 Laughs list. Brooks appears in 3 supporting roles: Governor William J. Lepetamine, a Yiddish-speaking Native American chief, and a director in line to help invade Rock Ridge, a nod to Hitchcock. He also dubs lines for one of Lily von Stupp's backing troupe. The supporting cast includes Slim Pickens, Alex Karras, and David Huddleston, as well as Brooks regulars Dom DeLuise, Madeline Kahn, and Harvey Korman. Bandleader Count Basie has a cameo as himself, appearing with his orchestra. The film is full of deliberate anachronisms, from the Count Basie Orchestra playing April in Paris in the Wild West to Slim Pickens referring to the wide world of sports. In 2006, Blazing Saddles was deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress and was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. The idea for the film came from a story outline written by Andrew Bergman that he originally intended to develop and produce himself. "I wrote a first draft called Tex X, a play on Malcolm X's name," he said. Alan Arkin was hired to direct and James Earl Jones was going to play the sheriff. That fell apart, as things often do. Brooks was taken with the story, which he described as hip talk, 1974 talk and expressions, happening in 1874 in the Old West, and purchased the film rights from Bergman. Though he had not worked with the writing team since Your Show of Shows, he hired a group of writers, including Bergman, to expand the outline and posted a large sign, "Please do not write a polite script." Brooks described the writing process as chaotic. Blazing Saddles was more or less written in the middle of a drunken fistfight. There were 5 of us all yelling loudly for our ideas to be put into the movie. Not only was I the loudest, but luckily I also had the right as director to decide what was in or out. Bergman remembers the room being just as chaotic, telling creative screenwriting, "In the beginning, we had 5 people. One guy left after a couple of weeks. Then, it was basically me, Mel, Richie Pryor, and Norman Steinberg. Richie left after the first draft and then Norman, Mel and I wrote the next 3 or 4 drafts. It was a riot. It was a riotous room." The original title, Tex X, was rejected to avoid it being mistaken for an X-rated film, as were Black Bart, a reference to Black Bart, a white highwayman of the 19th century, and Purple Sage. Brooks said he finally conceived Blazing Saddles one morning while taking a shower. Casting was problematic. Richard Pryor was Brooks's original choice to play Sheriff Bart, but the studio, claiming his history of drug arrests made him uninsurable, refused to approve financing with Pryor as the star. Cleavon Little was cast in the role, and Pryor remained as a writer. Brooks offered the other leading role, the Waco Kid, to John Wayne. He declined, deeming the film too blue for his family-oriented image, but assured Brooks that he would be the first one in line to see it. Gig Young was cast, but he collapsed during his first scene from what was later determined to be alcohol withdrawal syndrome, and Gene Wilder was flown in to replace him. Johnny Carson and Wilder both turned down the Hedley Lamar role before Harvey Korman was cast. Madeline Kahn objected when Brooks asked to see her legs during her audition. She said, "So it's that kind of an audition?" Brooks recalled. "I explained that I was a happily married man, and that I needed someone who could straddle a chair with her legs like Marlene Dietrich in Destry Rides Again. So she lifted her skirt and said, 'No touching.'" The film was almost not released. "When we screened it for executives, there were few laughs," said Brooks. The head of distribution said, "Let's dump it and take a loss." But studio president John Calley insisted they open it in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago as a test. It became the studio's top moneymaker that summer. The world premiere took place on February 7, 1974, at the Pickwick Drive-In Theater in Burbank. 250 invited guests, including Little and Wilder, watched the film on horseback.